Earl, we got a signing we got to talk about real quick. And before we do that, we have a quick
Yeah, we do, man. Don't forget the Guardians are playing a doubleheader today against the Arizona D-backs. So if you want to get to the game, just download the Game Time app, view from all seats in the venue, and get the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download Game Time today, lowest price guaranteed.
The Browns have added some defensive end depth to the roster with Marcus Haynes. He's an undrafted free agent out of Old Dominion. He was on the Broncos practice squad last season. Is this just a camp body, G, or does Marcus Haynes have any chance to make an impact for the Browns, whether it be a preseason game or even more far-fetched, a regular season game?
Nah, man, come on, man. I mean, Brown. Listen, I'm trying to look at Siaki and see if he gonna. I'm trying to find out what's going on with McGuire and Isaiah Thomas. Them dudes is fringe. The Browns got a lot of dudes up front, like Mike Hall Jr. Like they just drafted him. They drafted a Siaki Ika. Obviously, Myles Garrett, Alex Wright. You got Za'Darius Smith, who's not injured seriously, will be on the roster. But if you look at it, I mean, this is me. My question is, how many defensive linemen are they going to run and go into camp? Because right now, you're looking at, I mean,
they have like 14 good defensive linemen, 15. And they're going to keep 9 or 10. I did a roster projection for Bleacher Report, and like trying to pick the ends versus the tackles they're going to keep. It's a hell of a numbers game that Andrew Berry's going to have to figure out because they got too many players who have potential, and they can't keep them all.
Like, so, I mean, I don't know how he's going to come. Like, is he going to come play over McGuire, play over Isaiah Thomas? I mean, because they got, just off bat, when you got Maurice Hurst, Shelby Harris, Tomlinson, Quentin Jefferson, and Mike Hall Jr., that's 5 D tackles right there. So, like, where are you going to keep 4 or 5, 6 ends too? I don't think it's going to pop off like that, Jason. I think he might be here for some practice squad to get his money off.
Yeah, he's insurance policy. There's nothing more than that. You need bodies for camp. This is a nothing signing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I was unfamiliar with him, I'll be honest, before the Browns sent out that release. I wasn't quite sure who he was, but
I mean, we could get to the point where he's just something. We saw that last year where they're signing dudes off the practice squads and lining them up. Tackle, but they're not at that point yet. And they've had a lot of injuries, particularly on the defensive side. But the good thing is the games are still a month away. So if you get them out of the way now, if you get some of these injuries out of the way now,
because nothing's been super serious.
No, I would imagine anyone who's out at this point should still be back in time for Dallas.
Stefanski said that, some of the starters is going to play Saturday.
Talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, that's wild. Like
he said 10 plays, which.
Yeah, okay, a little bit. But they do got a lot of people out. I'm wondering how much, because I'm assuming because they got joint practices coming up for the second preseason game that most people won't play in that because they'd be doing the joint practices. So,
which means the Seattle game at 10:30 on a Saturday night.
Is it in Seattle?
In Seattle.
Man, why does that? I don't like that.
It's so stupid.
I don't like that.
You ain't alone. None of them like it.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, why would I do that?
I don't know. You're supposed to stay close to home.
And just punt. That's a gentleman's punt on this little scheduled game.
Hey, 4 o'clock.
What happened to playing the Bears the last game of every preseason game, right?
Detroit, Chicago, keep it regional. Keep it a triangle.
Well, we ain't got to play nobody. We'll act like the starter's going to play, but everybody show up in hoodies and sideline hats. Yeah, I ain't doing that. I wouldn't. I wonder. I don't know how many people going to play. I'm going to see because Stefanski is. He's done it both ways a little bit, right? We play some guys, not play some guys. He might be signings like this might be like, hey, we need somebody to pick up these reps.
Well, I feel like with the Za'Darius Smith injury, this is exactly a fill-in for that, essentially. We need he's 6'4", 250 pounds, had 15 sacks at Old Dominion over 4 years, was a productive player, but obviously went undrafted, which doesn't mean he can't play by any means, but didn't produce enough at a high enough level to get one of those 256 or 57 selections. He's a camp body. He's a Za'Darius Smith stand-in. Mm-hmm. It's like, when Liam Neeson does the movie, but was setting up the scenes. He is Za'Darius Smith's fill-in until Za'Darius Smith comes back while those other guys are getting reps.
There's like, yeah, you're going to be the old Za'Darius. You got your locks. You're going to be a stunt double right there. Just stand right there and just run upfield. Yeah, they you know what? It's wild because you talk about Camp. I don't know necessarily. There's not very many positions available. Like, there's just not. I don't even know how many linebackers they're going to have. They might have 4 linebackers, if that. So we'll see.
When you mentioned the defensive end depth a second ago, G, those 2 Isaiahs, McGuire and Thomas, one of them is going to have to show up in camp and show out in the preseason to solidify a spot in the 53-man roster.
Yeah.
It's real competition.
It might be a Kelly situation. Kelly is just automatically all-time practice squad. Like he's a veteran. They gave him a veteran practice squad love. Like, but you just go down the list of them. If you got Myles Garrett, you got Alex Wright. If you got Okorafor, that's 3 right there. Who am I missing? So Za'Darius Smith, that's 4. Those are your rotation guys.
They only kept 4 D ends last year.
So how are they going to get on the roster?
They kept an extra D tackle, so they had 10 defensive linemen. So you got to figure out. I can't imagine they're keeping 11. That just doesn't seem plausible.
So it might not matter what they do because they're not on the roster over Obo or Alex Wright.
Right, yeah.
So they better be Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor or something.
Injuries. They're the insurance policy against injuries.
How could a guy like Marcus Haynes, who they just signed, who was on Denver's practice squad last year, when they cut down the roster from, 90 to 70 or what? Do they skip the middle one now?
Yeah, they skipped the middle one.
So 90 to 53. How many guys can you protect for practice squad, or does everyone essentially go to waivers?
No, they.
I just thought I should have given you time to prepare.
I don't remember now. There's certain ways to do certain deals. Like they did something creative with
Mo Hurst last year.
That's not the one I was thinking of.
Michael Dunn.
They did something with Michael Dunn where they snuck him onto the practice squad basically and then re-added him right away. And I'm not as familiar with all of the levers that you can do. But I think it's is it 14? I know they expanded the practice squad in COVID. It's a big number now. It's a big number you can carry on practice squad. I mean, maybe he's a guy if he shows something in these next couple of weeks.
I mean, it's a lot of names. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen between DTR and Huntley.
Yeah. Do you think they'll keep 3 quarterbacks on the?
I think DTR is making this team.
So that's 3 then.
Yeah. I think DTR is making it.
I don't think he makes it through practice. You can't. He'd get clicked off waivers. You try to put him on practice.
Oh yeah, no. Zach Jackson's watched every camp. We can ask Mary Kay about it coming up too. Zach said DTR is beating him by 7 touchdowns right now. He's made every throw, and Huntley hasn't made any. So if you're looking at we're talking about the 3rd quarterback here, but Zach says DTR's had a great camp. And I've thought all along he was going to make it.
He showed promise in that Denver game before the concussion. We talked about it. He made that one specific throw to Amari Cooper on the out route on the right side towards the front of your TV screen. I know
exactly which one you're talking about.
And it was like he stood in the face of pressure. It was a little back foot kind of fadeaway throw, but he let it develop. And
it felt to me like it was coming. He was starting to figure it out, and then gets the concussion, and that's it.
And it allowed us to get the Joe Flacco experience, which turned out, in hindsight, to be the most fulfilling version of the backup quarterback situation. I can't imagine DTR would have played to that level.
No.
But
and I also think, again, he got hurt when he came back and played just a couple of snaps. Again, I think injuries are a concern with him.
He's tiny.
Period. Yeah, he's small. But as a 3rd quarterback, I think he's making it over Tyler Huntley.
So you got that's I don't know what's going on with Siaki Ika. The only thing that helps him is Dalvin Tomlinson is a true nose tackle, and Siaki Ika is too. So, but he was healthy scratches last year, so I don't know what's going on. And then the last linebacker position, Tony Fields. You think Devin Bush looked like he made a couple plays?
He's made a couple plays that I've seen.
We're going to talk about him in the preseason thing because he's one of the guys I have circled as, you need to play, you need to show me something.
Yeah, like him, Nathaniel Watson.
He's getting a lot of reps right now.
Yeah.